wherein they ask that define the MSI architecture. So you have to tell them that what is the MSI and how the architecture is designed. So our MSI is, we know that we have an application which is the binary file of that MSI. But now how this application is categorized, what is there inside the files. So there are many things inside our files, and that is how our application is created. So application, we know it is a software, or we can say that it is a product. Now inside that product we have a feature. Inside the feature we have a collection, and inside the collection we have files, registries, and shortcut. Now if I say how you're going to define it, you have to say, you just have to remember the sequence and you would be able to define it. So if somebody is going to ask you what is application, you can simply say it is a software, or it is a program, or we can say it is a product which consists of files, registries, and shortcuts. Now the another question is, what is a feature? So feature is basically a piece of functionality which helps us to create the software. Now in another term you can say feature is a collection of a application. So group of collections are known as feature. Feature is either, you can say that a feature has a sub feature, or it can have a group of collection. Now what is collection? A collection is a group of files, registries, and shortcuts. So this is how your collection is created. So for an example, you have a Microsoft Office. So that is your application, that is your product. Inside that product we have many features, like we have Teams, we have PowerPoint, we have Excel, we have Outlook. So all this will be considered as a feature. I'm just giving you an example that how you can consider. Then feature will be the Teams, PowerPoint, my Outlook, Excel, whatever the other things are there. Inside that feature you have a collection, and inside that collection you have n number of files, you have registries, you have shortcut, and that is how your application is comprised of. Now I'll show you the presentation.
I have a question, Shreya. Do we say
Hmm.
it as collection or components?
Sorry, did I wrote collection or it's a component? Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a component. We say a collection of component and collection of files, registry, and shortcuts. That's why I wrote component. That's why I wrote collection. So feature is a
Okay.
collection of component, and component is a collection of files, registries, and shortcuts.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the structure. So Microsoft Windows Installer, previously known as Microsoft Installer, is a component of the Windows OS. It provides a standard foundation for installing and uninstalling software. Software manufacturers can create the setup of their products to use Windows Installer to help make software installation, maintenance, and uninstallation straightforward and easy. So MSI are Microsoft Windows Installer, which we used to call it previously as Microsoft Installer. This helps to form an application which helps to make our application easier to install, uninstall, you can repair it, you can easily maintain it. Now this is the logical structure of the Windows installer. We have first MSI package. You can also call it as an application, you can call it as a product, or you can call it as an application. Inside that we have features. Now feature can be either one, or feature can be more than one also. Inside the feature you can have a sub feature also. So for different applications we have different means like we have different number of sub feature. For few application you will see only one feature. For few application you will see three features or two features. For few application you will see there is a feature, and inside the feature there is another feature. So like that. Now inside the feature we have a component, and inside the component we have files, registries, and shortcuts. Let me show you why I install shit. Yeah. So can you see this screenshot? Let me enlarge
Yes.
this more. Okay. So if I show you this, this is your setup design. Okay. So this is your feature. So this is one feature. Inside this feature, we have a component, which is, you can see, new component. And then inside this component, we have a files, we have a registries, we have shortcuts. So this is a complete architecture of your application. Now, when you have any application, if you have, like, obviously the structure has to be maintained. For an example, uh, you got any request and you have a MSI, you have to create an MST. There is again one requirement that you have to add new files in that particular application. So you cannot simply go and add the files. No, you have to maintain this structure. So what you have to do inside the feature, because feature can be one or feature can be more than that. So inside the created feature, you have to first create a component. Inside the component, you have to call that file. Same goes to registry also, same goes to shortcut also. So this I will be covering when we will be doing the practical lab. So the remote desktop application link which I have given to you, so there is one registry to suppress the automatic update of that remote desktop. So to create that, because we are calling one registry, so we have to create a component. Inside the component, we have to call the registries. So now if you have n number of components, all means, like, if there are n number of components, so I say 10 components or more than that, every component should either have a file or a registry or a shortcut. This means that your component should not be null, first of all. And the second thing, either one component will have a file, or it can have file registries both, or it can have just registries, but it should have some data. If there is any component which is null, we have to delete it. Means any component which is blank, we should delete that. And every component have a GUID representative, which is a graphical unique identifier. Just like a product code, it has a GUID code. So that is how it is segregated, that this is the component. So this structure, which this screenshot which I am showing you, this is from install shield. So the visibility of this architecture is a more in a more enhanced way. It is there in the install shield as compared to Orca. Orca I can show you now, but it is not in a such a enhanced way. My window page is not coming. Mhm. This one I have to close. Yeah. Other than feature, in the MSI package, we have action sequence also. We have custom actions. Rest, the most important part, which I already said, is a feature component. If you remember this flow also, you can easily define it. So component is a collection of file registry and shortcuts. So you have to go back. What is feature? Feature is a collection of component. Now I will show you with the application. Okay. So in the what to say, in this particular orca, it is just table is visibility is there, nothing else is there. But if I show you feature, see here we have only one feature in the remote desktop application, but in Power BI we have three features. See, we have three features. Now, as I said, every component will be linked to the feature. So I'll show you the component table. So this is the component table. If you notice, all these three features will be only available. So this is the component section. This is your component GUID, which I said it should be unique with respect to the, all the components should have a unique. So none of the component ID will be similar. And we have a feature component tables which is going to link both feature and components. So if you see this, just remember this feature, safe ODBC, all ODBC, Power BI. Now if you see this feature components, only you would be able to see these three feature, safe ODBC, then all ODBC, then Power BI. For Power BI you would be able to see only one, it is product feature. I'll scroll down, it is a product feature. So this is a feature, this is a component. So this is how it is linked up. Now for component, we have many rules, and this is also another important interview question. Few component rules which we have to define. Few rules, like as I already said, one, it should not be blank. If it is blank, you should delete that. Any component, empty component, if it is present, we should delete it. In the practical, when we'll be doing it, I'll tell you the way how to find that the component is empty. It's like because an application has n number of components, so it becomes little difficult to know that which component is blank, because otherwise you have to open each and every. So there is a way in the install shell through which you can easily come to know which component is blank, and you can usually delete it. Second thing is, every component is assigned a unique component GUID, which I already showed you. It looks like a product code only, and it is a graphical unique identifier. Then the second guidelines are no file, registry entry, shortcut, or other resources should ever be shipped as a member of more than one component. This applies across product version, and companies. So for an example, if you have any one application, so no file, we, because the component have a file, registry entry, and shortcut, so it should be a member of only one resource. So this means if you have two component, it should not be that both the components is containing the same set of files, registries, and shortcut. It should be unique. Then two components must not have the same key path file. Every component should have a key path. This key path is something like, I would be able to show you in the practical. As of now, I can explain that every component, as I said, has a files, registries, and shortcut. So whatever the files, like for